Hi, everybody. Welcome to Behavior Bites. My name is Brad.
And I'm Mike, and we're also joined by our producer, Callie, who's behind the cameras. So Brad and I were having a conversation the other day about something that we thought, you know what, we should put this on video because it's a really good concept. And it's kind of one of these hidden concepts that we don't necessarily always think of when it comes to behavior, but it's really important. So and that idea is reacting versus responding.
Right.
And essentially, what part of our brain do we want to be in charge when we're under stress, such as when we're working with kids that are showing some pretty big behaviors or are dysregulated? That can be pretty stressful. Do we want to stay in that thinking brain, and we want to try to not slip into the emotional brain? And you have a great take on this, and so go ahead and share that with Brad.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So react, respond, right? When we react, the part of my brain that is in control, like Mike had said, is that emotional survival part of my brain. That's our amygdala, right? And when this part of my brain is in control, our actions are driven by emotion, impulse, reflex, right? So an example would be I'm driving my car down the road and a deer jumps in front of my car, right?
Yeah.
That is unexpected and it is stressful. And when that happens, my body is going to do something, but there's not a whole lot of rational thought that goes into it. It's going to be very instinctual, right? I'm going to swerve. I'm going to slam on the brakes. I'm going to do something that hopefully it's the right decision, but it may or may not be because I don't have a whole ton of control over that. Conversely, let's talk about responding. When we respond, my prefrontal cortex, right? That thinking, problem solving part of my brain, that's what's in control, right? That's what's running the show. And when that's happening, my actions follow a predetermined path to a desired outcome. And an example I would use for that, Mike, if you're teaching in your classroom and the fire alarm goes off, right? When that happens, that is also unexpected. That is also stressful, but hopefully nobody gets up, screams, panics, runs around like a maniac because we have a path to follow. We stand up, we get in line, we walk out the door, we follow the path outside, and we wait, right? Nobody panics because we already had a response planned out in advance.
It's perfect. So let's talk a little bit about how we do this. And you just hit on one of my favorite ways to go about doing it, planning.
Yeah.
And that the fire alarm example is a perfect one of that because we planned ahead for something that was inevitable. There's always going to be fire alarms. Here's how we address it. So we want to plan ahead for those inevitable occurrences. Here's another example. If we have a student with really high test anxiety, every time that we have a high stakes kind of assignment or what they interpret as a high stakes assignment, and they kind of go off the rails, they get nervous. Maybe we even see bigger behaviors. If we know that happens every time we give them a test, we should plan ahead for that. And that helps us stay rational and effective in the way that we're doing things too. So maybe we have a plan in place that the kid, maybe they need to take the test in a quieter space. Maybe they need a little bit of extra warm up or positive self-talk or a little bit of a cheerleader thing, maybe a little extra breaks, whatever it is that works for that kid. But we kind of owe it to the kid, and honestly, we owe it to ourselves so that we don't put ourselves in those spots where we have to react emotionally. So plan ahead for those things are going to happen.
Right. You guys, what Mike's talking about, it's such a great, is being person-centered, right? As a teacher, you know what makes your kid tick. You know what they like, you know what they're good at, and you know what might set them off. If I know what situations are going to set my kid off, and then I know that when they do get set off, probably how they're going to react, I can, Mike's words, game plan for it. And that is how you use that person-centered approach to respond instead of react. Right, Mike?
Yep. And hey, folks, we would love to hear about what you thought about this content, or do you have a go-to strategy for you to stay in your emotional brain or your thinking brain, how to stay in your responding brain? We'd love to hear about it. Go ahead and drop those in the comments.
Hey, guys, click the link in bio and check out all of our supplemental content. And we'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, gang, go forth, do good things.